السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته يا شيخ.
أبا عبد الرحمن، كيف الحال؟
الحمد لله بالخير يا شيخ.
طيب، إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أما بعد, our book is Al-Adab Al-Mufrad by Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri rahimahullah. The book is specifically compiled regarding the morals and the conduct of a Muslim. How should a Muslim conduct himself and relate with others? What should you do? How should you do it? What should you say? How should you say it? How should you not say it? All of these come under the issues of adab, the conduct and the manners of a Muslim. In the last class, we came to a very worrisome chapter. Worrisome because many of the people are guilty of the evil regarding the discourse, and that is about al-ghiba. Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri rahimahullah, he preceded that with a chapter that says, Man haka kalam al-rajuli inda al-itab, the one who says the like of what a person says inda al-itab, when he wants to caution him. Why did you do this? Why? Instead of saying, why did you do it? Blaming him, blaming the man. What the man said wrongly can simply be repeated. Like the man said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Zidni, when he asked for ziyada regarding the fasting on any day in a month. The man said, radiyallahu anhu, Zidni. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, Zidni, Zidni. You can see this very mild yet deep approach to correcting the fault of an individual without insulting him, while still making the person understand that you are correcting him. That chapter, that statement of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. In fact, when the man continued, he said, Zidni, give me more. He says, فَإِنِّي أَجِدُنِي قَوِيًّا, because I find myself very strong. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam repeated those expressions again. Inni ajiduni qawiyan. Inni ajiduni qawiyan. In our own times, when we want to caution people, sometimes it comes with negative expressions. And instead of getting corrected, the person even becomes angry regarding our negative use of words, our insult, our abuse, and the person does not even get corrected at all. We are even talking about where it is so clear that the person is erring. We use very negative and heavy expressions to the extent that the person, rather than change, becomes persistent, becomes tougher on the evil. Why? You had employed words that conveyed negative meanings, and instead of correcting, it worsened the man's case. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us that approach to correcting people. What they say what they said. As deep as it is in its meaning, It is also very honorable. It also depicts that the man was wrong. And in fact, at a point in time, the man himself said, رضي الله عنه فأفحم حتى ظننت أنه لن يزيدني. The Prophet was even silent to the extent that I think that I was feeling that he will not say any other thing in addition to what he had said. So there are so many ways to correct the people without being vulgar and obscene ourselves. You want to correct somebody and you are becoming vulgar and obscene. This was a lesson from the last chapter. And the chapter that followed it was about ghiba, going behind the man to destroy his person, either by saying what actually he did wrong, by mentioning his faults, and that is ghiba. When actually, yes, he did it. Actually, yes, he is like that. He had that personal failure. That is the way he is. Or he has that personal blemish physically. That is the way he is. What you have said is true, but behind him, and it is something that he would dislike. Like the Prophet himself, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, defined what al-ghiba is. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, he asked the companions, Atadruna mal ghiba? Do you know actually what ghiba is? They said, Allah knows best, His Messenger knows best. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then the Prophet came and defined it. He said, it is dhikruka akhaka bima yakrahu. Mentioning your brother, mentioning your sister with something that he or she dislikes. It is true, it is with him. The companions, radiallahu anhum, when they heard that, they thought that maybe it is from the aspects of lying against your brother behind him. So they said, in kana fihi ma taqul, faqad iktabtahu. So he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, after they had asked him, what if what we have said about him is with him? He said, in kana fihi ma taqul, faqad iktabtahu. If what you have actually said is with that brother, that is iltiyab. That is al-iltiyab. That is backbiting. If he has what you said, he is tall, look at his neck. Yes, and his neck is actually tall. This is ghiba. He talks too much, and he actually talks too much. That is ghiba. Is ghiba. Is ghiba. He does this, and he actually does it. Is ghiba. But when the brother hears it, he will not be happy that it was said behind him what you are saying. And here in the last class, we also drew from this hadith that the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ فِيهِ فَقَدْ بَهَدْتَهُ. But if what you said regarding him does not occur with him, that is not how he is, and you know that he is not like that, قَدْ بَهَدْتَهُ. You have brought buhtan. You have ascribed lies. You are slandering him. You are telling a lie. You are slandering him now. You are defaming him now. It is calumny against him. It is libel against him now. Why? What you said about him is not with him. But if it is with him, it is ghiba. There is also a third one that the ulama, Al-Imām Al-Hasan Al-Basri, amongst the Tabi'un, he mentioned. And we all know about it. But we might not have thought of the connection between this third one and the first two. We have talked about ghiba. What you said behind him is true about him, or it is something that he would dislike to be said about him. This is al-ghiba. The second one, al-buhtan. That is spreading a lie. What you said is not like that. You are abusing him that he talks too much, and the man is a very gentle person. You are abusing him that he's tall, and he's not. You are abusing him that his neck is like this, but it's not. You are abusing him that he did so, but he did not do it. This is buhtan. There is the third one the ulama refer to as al-ifk. Al-ifk is you don't know whether it is true. You did not verify the truity, such that if it was true, it would be riba. You did not also verify that it was a lie, such that if it was a lie, it would be buhtan. You are just carrying the news. You are just conveying the news. You are just sharing the news. You are just bringing that news on your status. You are just liking it. That is ifku. Just like we had the case with our mother Aisha. There was no any verification of any sort. People were just collecting the information and transferring from one person. Did you hear this? Did you hear this? Is it true? Can you verify? I can't verify it too. I'm just saying what people said. This is ifk. Is it a lie? I don't know whether it's a lie. I don't know whether it is a true. This is ifk. If it's a lie, it is buhtan. And if it is true, it is riba. If it is true, it is riba. If it is a lie, it is buhtan. If you don't know whether it is a truth or lie, but you are just conveying the information, you are just sharing it, you are just reposting it, you are just liking it, you are just placing it on your status, then that is ifk. When you are asked, is this thing you are posting true? Say, I don't know whether it is true. Everybody is posting it. I feel that is ifk. That is ifk. It is not lawful. None of these is lawful in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the matter today is about riba. In the last class, from last week till today, I am sure that each time each of us wanted to make giba, it would occur to us that this is giba. Even though some people will be bold enough to still go ahead and make that giba. Ikhwa, reminders benefit a lot. And we should not be taking, we should not move behind. We should not refuse to say and describe something that is bad as bad. Why? Many of the people are doing it. Allah told us about that in the Quran. لا يستوي الخبيث والطيب ولو أعجبك كثرة. Even if the wide spread of that evil stares you in the face, you cannot compare something that is bad and something that is good. Ikhwa, giba is bad, despite the fact that it is very, very common. What people consider as gist today is giba. 95%. A man sits with his wife, they want to discuss as a husband and a wife. You are going to find out that in that discussion there will be riba in it. They are messaging themselves, you are going to find out that there will be riba in it. Two friends, two sisters, two brothers, two colleagues sit down, and they sit down for 10 minutes. It is not unlikely that they will not come up with something that will fall in the category of al-riba. And that's why it is necessary for us to know what is not al-riba. The ulama, of course, al-muharrama. The ulama have mentioned 6 things we should keep in mind. They are the way, the check and balance for whatever you want to say about somebody else. If you pass these 6 tests, it is not riba. If you know that it is not part of these 6 things, my dear brother, just keep away. Why? It will become al-riba. And Allah has warned us in the Quran. وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. No group of you should make riba of the other group. أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا. Let us quickly mention 2 things of benefit in this verse. There are many others. Allah said, أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا. Does this Hamza, it is al-istifhamiyya, is there any sane person who would like to do that? So when people are truly sane, they will not eat the flesh of their dead brother. But when they are insane, then they can do what they like. They can do what they like. So Allah says there is no one who will like to eat the flesh of his brother. One of the scholars said Allah mentioned that as a mithal, as a similitude for ghiba. Why? If your brother dies and you are eating his flesh, the brother does not know. You are eating the flesh of your brother. He is dead. He didn't know. The same thing. When you are talking about your brother behind him, he's not there. He's absent like the dead person. So it's like actually eating his flesh. It's actually behind him. He didn't know. So that's why he said, أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ. Will you eat the flesh of your brother? He's dead. He didn't even know that you are eating his flesh. And you are eating his flesh. Then Allah gave the answer, فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. Every sensible person would hate to eat the flesh of his brother. When he would eat the flesh of his brother, he is rather insane. He is insane. He is mad. Something is wrong with him. He has lost control of himself and of his mind. Ikhwa, do you think of yourself like this when you do backbiting? Do you think that this your action is insanity? Do you think of it like that? If it is not insane, should you eat the flesh of your brother behind him? Should you? If no, then when you do it, it is insanity that brings a man to eat the flesh of his brother. So when you speak about your brother or your sister behind him, keep these 6 things in your mind. If what you have said is not part of any one of these 6, when you speak about your brother behind him, you are behaving in the way of the people who are insane. They lost their mind and their senses, eating the flesh of their brother behind him. I beg Allah to protect each and every one of us. It's a very, very common thing. Whether you know or not, you fall into it so quite easily. And it is very, very destructive. May Allah forgive all of us. So you look at these 6 things whenever you want to talk about somebody behind him. The first one of them is that it is because of at-tadhallum. The person did something bad, took your money, so you want to complain to police. Or the person took your property. You want to complain to constituted authority, those in charge who will be able to help you recover your rights. That zulm, that injustice, that wrongdoing that was directed to you, you can claim your rights inside it. Someone treats you badly. You report the case to the appropriate quarters. In fact, even here, the scholars say if he stole 10,000 naira from you, or if he wronged you regarding one thing, but you know 3 of his faults, if you mention the one thing that he wronged you in, you have not committed the ghiba that is haram. But when you mention the 2 other things that is not part of his wrongdoing to you, you have mentioned the ghiba that is now unlawful. The man did one thing to you. You know 3 of his faults. The one he did to you is the one that you should clarify and talk about. The other 2, that it was not zulmu to you, if you mention it, it will form from the aspects of al-ghiba. The second one is al-isti'anatu ala taghyir al-munkar, seeking help by way of trying to correct something that is bad. Somebody did something. You know there is somebody who can talk to him, or you are seeking help. How do you think I can approach this matter? brother so did so thing. So you are talking to brother C. Brother A did something. B is talking to C about how they can go about correcting brother A. It is called al-isti'anatu, seeking help, seeking advice, seeking a guide or guidance about how to correct the error of our brother who is erring. You know that situation will make you mention that error. You're mentioning that error in that circumstance is not part of riba. Sometimes people just say it. They just want to say it. If it is just about just wanting to say it, it is riba. But if it is about mentioning it by way of finding a way to reach out to the brother honorably and help him rectify himself, then it is not from the aspects of al-riba. The third one is al-istiftah. You want to ask a fatwa. Is this thing lawful? Here also the ulama say, if you can ask that fatwa without mentioning the person's name, that is better. But if you mention the person's name, it is lawful. Al-istiftah. The first one, at-tadhallumu. The second one, al-isti'anatu ala taghyir al-munkar. The third one, al-istiftah. The fourth one, tahdhir al-muslimin min sharrihi. You want to warn the rest of the Muslims regarding him. Someone wants to trade with a brother. He wants to marry a sister. He wants to marry a brother. Or he wants to hand over his family affair to so person. No, don't do that. So why should I not do that? That brother is like this. Just what is enough to satisfy the circumstance. So you say, I will know that brother. One day he said that people should contribute some so money. He ate up the money. He diverted it. He did this. He did that. Don't trade with him. Oh, you cannot marry so brother. He beats women. He is unruly. He lies. Don't marry. Oh, don't marry so sister. You are just saying jilbab and niqab in her head. She does not fear Allah. She's very rude. These kinds of situations, when we need to warn the rest of the Muslims, or one person considered to be learned, so that person says, observe Salatul Fajr anytime you like. Say, no. Someone now says, I want to go to a madrasa. Don't go to that madrasa. You warn the people regarding the evil in the hands of that person. The fifth one is that the individual an yakuna mujahiran bifiskihi aw bid'atihi. The person come out in the public like most of these celebrities do. They come out in the public to commit evil. Celebrities come out in the public to commit evil. So we can condemn that evil publicly. So you should not say, why are you speaking about me behind me? It is not from the aspects of al-riba. The sixth one from the things that is not from the aspects of al-riba is at-tarif. You just want to describe the person. Oh, he's a tall brother. You know that tall brother, very tall. A companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is mentioned as Zuliyadain, the companion with two hands. Some scholars said he was called like that because he has an arm that is longer than the regular arm of the rest of us. His arms are long. Some say it is the palm that is long. He is well known. He has a hadith that is well known, Hadith Zuliyadain, collected by Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. So if you are describing the brother, that blind brother, yes, is the one I'm talking about. Just for him to be known that he is the one you are talking about. So if it is about these 6 circumstances that makes you talk about a brother behind him or a sister, then it is lawful and it is not from riba. If it is not in any of these cases, let us hear what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam told us about the evil of al-ghiba. In Hadith 7 32 in our book Al-Adab Al-Mufrad. Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri said, rahimahullah, حدثنا أبو معمر قال حدثنا عبد الوارث عن واصل مولى أبي عيينة قال حدثني خالد بن عرفطة حدثني خالد بن عرفطة عن طلحة بن نافع عن جابر بن عبد الله قال كنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وارتفعت ريح خبيثة منتنة فقال أتدرون ما هذه؟ هذه ريح الذين يغتابون المؤمنين. Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri reports this hadith from his Shaykh Abu Ma'mar, that is Abdullah ibn Amr ibn Abi al-Hajjaj, Abu Ma'mar al-Basri. The ulama really respect Abu Ma'mar. They say كان له قدر عند أهل العلم. Amongst the scholars who are Abu Ma'mar is a person of high esteem. They respect him so much. Rahimahullah. He was from the teachers of Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri. He said, حدثنا عبد الوارث. That is Abdur-Raūf ibn Sa'id ibn Zakwan. Abdur-Raūf ibn Sa'id ibn Zakwan. Abu Ubaidah al-Basri. Rahimahullah. He is reporting from his own Shaykh. واصل مولى أبي عيينة واصل مولى أبي عيينة البصري. He is from the Atbā' Al-Tabyān. He was also from the scholars of Basra. He said حدثني خالد ibn عرفطة. Khalid ibn Urfuta al-Laythi. He was also from amongst the Atbā' Al-Tabyān. And then the tabi'i of this hadith is Talha ibn Nafi, Abu Sufyan al-Makki. Talha ibn Nafi, Abu Sufyan al-Makki. He is reporting this hadith from Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, radiyallahu anhu. Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari was a very young person during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. He lived very, very long. Jabir lived very long. Radiyallahu anhu. He was well over 80 years old. He grew so old that he even went blind due to old age. Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. And for over 50 years, he was from the A'imma of Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, the Prophet's Masjid in Medina, giving khutbah, leading salat, because don't forget he was from amongst the scholars, amongst the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. His father was a companion. He was a companion too. He said, Kunna مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. We were with the Prophet Muhammad عليه الصلاة والسلام. وارتفعت ريح خبيثة منتنة. ارتفعت ريح. Suddenly as we were with him, ارتفعت ريح. One wind began to really blow. Boom. Wind. Strongly. But this wind is khabithatun muntinatun. It is rihun khabitha, very bad wind. Muntina. It's rotten, stinking wind. Rotten, stinking, bad wind. Khabithatun muntina. It is khabitha, so bad, negative. Muntina. Very, very stinking and rotten. When something is muntinous, it's rotten. Wind began to blow. while we were sitting with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, faqal, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam then said, Atadruna ma hadhihi? Do you know what this is causing this wind? This bad, smelly, pungent odor that we are perceiving. Do you know? Atadruna ma hadhihi? Do you know what this is? Hadhihi rihu alladhina yaghtabuna al-mu'minin. This is the wind of those who make ghibah against the people of Iman. So your brother, your sister, when you begin to make a ghibah, that is the smell that you make. Something very, very smelly. You are bringing about very bad smell and odor. Very stinking and rotten odor. It comes in the circumstance of riba. Ikhwa. Riba itself is like eating the flesh of your brother. When you now eat the flesh of your dead brother, how does that smell? Does it smell nicely? Does that smell nicely? Does that show sense? Does any sane person eat up dead human being on the ground? Smelling? May Allah protect each and every one of us from this evil. Ikhwa, I will not take so much time. The Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam was in a gathering with his companions, وَارْتَفَعَتْ رِيحٌ خَبِيثَةٌ مُنْتِنَةٌ, and a wind began to blow very strongly. This wind was خَبِيثَةٌ مُنْتِنَةٌ. It was a very bad wind, muntinatun, with very bad smell. So stinking. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, هذه ريح الذين يغتابون المؤمنين. This is the wind of those who backbite the people of Iman. May Allah protect all of us. In Hadith 733, which is Aslan, basically the same Hadith is 372, but with more information. Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri said, rahimahullah, حدثنا مسدد قال حدثنا فضيل بن عياض عن سليمان عن أبي سفيان عن جابر قال هاجت ريح منتنة على أهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إن ناسا من المنافقين اغتابوا أناسا من المسلمين فبعثت هذه الريح لذلك. Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri reports this hadith from his Shaykh Musaddad ibn Musarhadin rahimahullah. He was from among the first groups of persons who compiled a book of hadith. Musaddad ibn Musarhad. He has a musnad, and he was from the students of Al-Imām Ahmad rahimahullah. He said, Haddathana Fudayl. This is that well-known Imam Abu Ali al-Yarbu'i, Fudayl ibn Iyad. He was an ardent, worshipping servant of Allah. Fudayl ibn Iyad, Abu Ali, rahimahullah. He reports it from his own Shaykh Al-Imām Al-A'mash, Sulaiman ibn Mihran. So he said, Musaddad ibn Musarhad said, he was reporting from Fudayl and Sulaiman. Fudayl on the authority of Sulaiman ibn Mihran, Al-Imām Al-A'mash, and he is reporting from Abu Sufyan. Ikhwa, there's a point of benefit here. If you are not very conversant with those who report hadith, you will think that Abu Sufyan in the second hadith is different from Talha ibn Nafi. But because we'd mentioned Talha ibn Nafi is Abu Sufyan al-Makki, so here they mentioned him by his kunya. In the first hadith he was mentioned by his name. So this hadith has been collected by Jabir ibn Abdullah from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And then Talha ibn Nafi, Abu Sufyan collected it from Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. And then Khalid ibn Urfuta in the first hadith collected it from Talha Abu Sufyan. But in the second isnad, the one who was reporting from Abu Sufyan Talha was Sulaiman ibn Mihran, Al-Imām Al-A'mash. So it means Khalid ibn Urfuta, he has a tabi', someone following him in that report of the hadith from Talha, the Shaykh of the two of them. So and then Fudail ibn Iyad reported it from Al-Imām Sulaiman ibn Mihran, while Abdul-Warith reported it from Wasil Mawla Abi Uyayna. So we can see where the isnad connects and we can see where the isnad departs. This one in 733, Jabir said radiyallahu anhuma, Hajat rihun muntinatun ala ahdi Rasulillah. Hajat is the same thing as irtafa'at. It was blowing so strongly. There was a sudden, strong blowing wind. So you say Hajat rihun, a strongly blowing wind suddenly came upon us. Ala ahdi Rasulillah. During the time of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. In the first hadith he said, while we were with him, kunna ma'a Rasulillah, while we were with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, when the wind blew. So فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. In the second report, Jabir said, when the wind blew, the Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In the first hadith it said, the Prophet was asking them, do you know what this wind is? So it means the questioning came before the answering. The questioning came, do you know what this is? In the second report, he just told us what he said. He did not say what preceded that. So we read them together and connected them. He did not say what he said about the wind until he had asked them, Atajruna, do you know, O people, ma hadihi, what this wind is all about? So when he asked them that question, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he himself was the one who went ahead to give that explanation, that inna nasan min al-munafiqeen, a group of people amongst the hypocrites, nasan, some men, min al-munafiqeen, amongst the hypocrites, igtabu unasan min al-muslimin, they made ghiba, they started insulting behind them some of the Muslims. Some hypocrites, munafiqun, igtabu unasan min al-muslimin, they began to speak evil of the Muslims. It is a very, very common thing amongst hypocrites. When they meet themselves, that is when they begin to say, Sheikh Lagwaja is like this, Sheikh Tamad, hypocrites. Ustaz so is like this, hypocrites. Umu so is like this, so hypocrites. So one common trait of munafiqeen is that they usually regularly make ghiba of the Muslims. Do you remember in Surah At-Tawbah when some Muslims were making Qiyamul Layl? Do you remember how the munafiqun were making jest of them behind them? That was a practical case of a munafiq making jest and mockery of the people of Iman. So the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that inna nasan min al-munafiqeen ibtabu unasan min al-muslimin. Some amongst the hypocrites made ghibah. They were backbiting some of the Muslims, speaking evil of them. Ikhwa, don't forget, it is ghibah. So they were not saying something that the Muslims did not do. They were mentioning their faults. The story we mentioned from Surah to Tawbah, they were saying that those Muslims have big tummy. Look at them. They finish eating food. They can eat anything. They can, and all that. Meanwhile, these people were upon Qiyamul Layl. So when you make jests, you make mockery of a Muslim behind him, it is from the aspects of ghibah. It is from the aspects of ghibah and from the jobs of munafiqun. May Allah protect us from nifaq. فَبُعِثَتْ هَذِهِ الرِّيحُ لِذَلِكَ. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, فَبُعِثَتْ هَذِهِ الرِّيحُ لِذَلِكَ. When they were backbiting and maligning and jesting of the Muslims. فَبُعِثَتْ. And then this rih, this bad, very pungent, stinking odor was raised. So the wind started to blow because of ghibah. That shows how so badly ghibah is. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. When you are making the ghibah, you are eating the flesh of your brother. As you eat the flesh of your brother, you are giving out a very bad smell. The problem with many of the people is that because they don't smell that smell now. But that is the job, that's what happens. It's only showing how so despicable it would be that you now take it for a job, backbiting your brothers. May Allah protect and forgive all of us. I think that we can take the next hadith. Hadith 734. Al-Imām Al-Bukhāri said, rahimahullah, حدثنا عبد الله بن صالح قال حدثنا معاوية بن صالح عن كثير بن الحارث عن القاسم بن عبد الرحمن الشامي سمعت ابن أم عبد يقول من اغتيب عنده مؤمن فنصره جزاه الله بها خيرا في الدنيا والآخرة ومن اغتيب عنده مؤمن فلم ينصره جزاه الله بها في الدنيا والآخرة شرا وما التقم أحد لقمة شرا من اغتياب مؤمن إن قال فيه ما يعلم فقد اغتابه وإن قال فيه بما لا يعلم فقد بهته. This hadith, Al-Bukhari reported it from one of the well-known scholars. The scholars of hadith refer to as Katibul Layth, Abdullah ibn Salih Katibul Layth, well known. He is the Shaykh of Al-Imām Al-Bukhari in this hadith and is reporting from Muawiyah ibn Salih Al-Andalusi. Muawiyah ibn Salih Al-Andalusi was from the Qudat, from the judges who had lived in Spain, present-day Spain. Muawiyah ibn Salih Al-Andalusi, Abu Amr, rahimahullah. He is reporting from Kathir ibn al-Harith, Abu Amin al-Himyari. Kathir ibn al-Harith, Abu Amin al-Himyari. And he is reporting from Al-Qasim ibn Abdur-Rahman al-Shami, the tabi'i of this hadith. And the Sahaba of the hadith is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Fortunately, the isnad ends with him, so it is mawquf. Al-Qasim ibn Abdur-Rahman Ash-Shami said, Sami'tu ibn Ummi Abd. I heard Ibn Ummi Abd. The companion that is so referred to as Ibn Ummi Abd was Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. The companion who is referred to as Ibn Ummi Abd was Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. The Prophet also used to refer to him as Ibn Ummi Abd, the son of the woman who has slaves as her children. The mother of the slave, he is her own son, Ibn Ummi Abdin radiyallahu anhuma. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was a person of Iman, was a person of knowledge amongst the scholars radiyallahu anhu. So he is called Ibn Ummi Abd. There are a lot of ahadith where the Prophet himself alayhi salatu wasalam referred to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud as Ibn Ummi Abd. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, he said that man yughtiba indahu mu'minun, anyone who before him yughtiba mu'minun, a person of Iman was being backbeaten. If you were a person of Iman, you were there, and your brother from the people of Iman was suffering backbiting. People were backbiting him, and you were there. فَنَصَرَهُ, whoever helps his brother in this kind of a situation, جَزَاهُ اللَّهُ بِهَا خَيْرًا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. This expression, it could mean a dua that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is saying that may Allah reward him with goodness fi dunya wal akhirah, in this world and in the hereafter. Man kutiba indahu mu'minun fanasarahu, anyone before whom a mu'min was backbeaten, and then you helped your brother who was being backbeaten. How? By stopping those who are backbiting him. Hey, stop, that's giver. Stop what that. It's not necessarily by supporting and say the brother did well. No, you may not even do that. Say, keep quiet. Stop backbiting. If you do that, you have helped and supported your brother's honor. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu said, Man kutiba indahu mu'min fanasarahu, anyone who, before whom a person of Iman was suffering backbiting, and then you helped him, you supported him, Jazahullahu khaira. Some say this is dua. It's saying anybody who would ever do that, Jazahullahu khaira fi dunya wal akhirah. May Allah reward him with goodness in this world and in the hereafter. This shows that Jazakumullahu khairah was something very well known amongst the companions. So it could mean dua. It could simply also mean that it is a statement that shows that it will happen. Whoever does it, Jazahullahu khairah, Allah will reward him in this dunya. Allah will reward him in the akhirah. The first expression, may Allah reward him in this world and hereafter. The second expression, Allah will reward him in this world and hereafter. The first one is dua. The second one is an affirmation that this thing will happen like this. The first one says, may Allah do this like this. I hope that it is clear. This expression can be explained in both ways. In any of the cases, it is goodness for somebody. You are there, they are backbiting your brother, backbiting. You say, hey, stop. It's okay. You stop the backbiting. Or you do any other thing that shows that the people doing the backbiting should stop. Ibn Mas'ud said, radiyallahu anhu, وَمَنِ غُتِيبَ عِنْدَهُ مُؤْمِنٌ فَلَمْ يَنْصُرْهُ. And anyone before whom a Muslim was maligned, People were insulting him, abusing him, and you kept quiet. Jazahullahu biha fi dunya wal akhirati sharra. So it can be two things. May Allah reward him. That person who was there, who was silent, lam yansurhu, he did not help his brother who was being backbeaten by those who were backbiting him, behaving like munafiqun. You are there sitting, keep quiet. It is bad to keep quiet. It is bad to keep quiet. If you keep quiet, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, radiyallahu anhu, may Allah reward you with evil in this world and hereafter. Don't forget that if we take that expression to be dua, or if we take it as just a kalam, like al-insha, something he just said from his own volition, then what it would mean is that Allah will reward you with the evil recompense for that your silence. It means keeping silent is not lawful. It means keeping silent when there is riba is not lawful. Say, hey brother, don't say that. That's riba. Take it away from me. May Allah protect all of us. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, radiyallahu anhu, وَمَا الْتَقَمَ أَحَدٌ لُقْمَةً شَرَّ مِنِ اقْتِيَابِ مُؤْمِنٍ. Nobody eats any morsel of food. All the food you have been eating in your mouth. The one that is worth is when you are making the ghiba of your brother. Don't forget that Allah told us that أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ. So, أَكْلُ لَحْمِ الْأَخْ is when you make ghiba, you are eating his flesh. So here Ibn Mas'ud said, radiyallahu anhu, the worst of what you can put in your mouth as flesh is the flesh of ghiba regarding your brother. It's worst flesh you can put inside your mind. إِن قَالَ فِيهِ مَا يَعْلَمُ. If that brother speaks about his brother something that he knows that that is how that brother behaves, فَقَدْ اغْتَابَهُ. He has made the ghiba of that brother. وَإِن قَالَ فِيهِ بِمَا لَا يَعْلَمُ فَقَدْ بَهَتَّهُ. Or if he spoke regarding that brother something that he does not know, that is just fabricating the lies. Liar. He doesn't know it to be true that that brother commits that thing or did that thing or has that negative feature. Anyone who tells a lie by way of spoiling his brother behind him. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, radiyallahu anhu, فَقَدْ بَهَتَّهُ. You speaking evil about your brother, you have come up with buhtan, big sin. It is from buhtan, lying, telling a huge, big lie regarding your brother. Saying he did something, he didn't do it. He said something, he didn't say it. In all of that, you want to malign him. So Ikhwa, you can see here, this last hadith tells us what to do. If you are there when somebody is being either maligned, that is, they are telling a lie regarding him, or when he's suffering ghiba, backbiting. Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu reported something similar to that from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that man radda an irdi akhi, anyone who defends the honor of his brother behind him, kana lahu hijaban minan nar. Allah will make that his defending his brother behind him a means of protection for that person inside, away from the fire of Jahannam. Your duty, your job of protecting your brother, saying that no, it's not like that. Oh, we should stop that giver. If you do that, Allah will make it be a means of you being protected from the fire of Jahannam. May Allah protect all of us from the fire of Jahannam. May Allah make it easy for all of us to abandon al-ghiba. May Allah protect us. Those, a lot of people, or a lot of us, we from time to time get into this sin of ghiba. And unfortunately, because it is from al-kaba'ir, it is a sin that your fasting cannot take it away unless you properly make tawbah. You sit down, make tawbah. إلا من تاب وآمن وعمل عملا صالحا فأولئك يبدل الله سيئاتهم حسنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما. So you have a duty to change. You have a chance to change. More so now that Ramadan is coming to its end, and it is a very painful thing. Ramadan, we are about 17 now in the month of Ramadan. And beg Allah to forgive all of us. So it means if you must avoid riba, you must be someone who is ever careful about what comes out from your mouth. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to stop this evil of al-ghiba. May Allah forgive all of us. Abdur-Rahman.
Wa alaikum ya Shaykh.
Amin wa iyyakum Abdur-Rahman.
The first question is, Assalamu alaikum. Please, as a worker, if an employer or superior treats them unfairly and no one can confront him for fear of losing the job, is it from ghiba that staffs complain between themselves regarding the unfair treatment?
What will the complaint between themselves? What will it bring about? If it is not a complaint to constituted authority, that Oga, so, because Ogas also have levels in every place of work. Oga degree 5. You are reporting him to Oga of degree number 10. Yes, this is lawful. It is from the aspects of at-tadallum. Or that you are making al-isti'anatu ala taghyir al-munkar. You came back to all those of you at the same level. Hey, you, what did Oga this do that? Say, he did this to me. So how are we going to face this and resolve this matter now? How are we going to get to him that he should not behave like this again? Or you should not say things like this amongst yourself? You are deliberating how to stop that evil, that wrongdoing amongst yourself. This your deliberation is lawful. Did you not hear what Allah said that in Surah An-Nisa? That la khayra fi kathirin min najwaakum illa man amara bi sadaqatin aw ma'rufin aw islahin bayna nas. So you can make islah. Let us go and admonish him. Let us report him to Imam. Or let us report him to CEO. Or let us report him. If this is your intention for discussing it, it is not riba. But if your intention is just to just talk about him and gist and leave it like that, then it is riba. I hope that it is clear, inshallah.
Another question I ask. Please, what is advice on ghiba done regarding a non-Muslim?
Well, generally speaking, you should avoid ghiba. Generally avoid it, even if it has to do with a non-Muslim. Avoid the ghiba regarding anybody. Mind your tongue. And avoid the ghiba regarding everybody, except in the cases as discussed. You want to address the kufur of this kafir. This person, how are we going to convey Islam to him? We have to address a shubuhat on Christianity or Judaism and things like this. You can discuss this with your ustad, with your sheikh, with your colleagues. How are we going to go about Emmanuel becoming a Muslim? This is not ghiba. Or Emmanuel did something, you are reporting him. This is not ghiba. It is not. And like the rest that we have mentioned. So, otherwise, avoid the riba, generally speaking. Avoid it. Whether regarding a Muslim or regarding a non-Muslim. Because if you get used to it regarding a non-Muslim, you will do it regarding a Muslim. If you get used to giver, just talking about people's faults. Some people, I don't know, if they make 10 sentences, 7 of them are about other people. That's why the scholars told us, one of the things that leads to giver is al-hasad, jealousy. Is jealous of him. So to pay back, it begins to speak evil of the person. Some people don't like people to be praised. If anybody was praised for any good thing, they feel bad. It's hasad. That's their bad feeling makes them now begin to criticize that person. Even when the person has no fault, they will create a fault for that person. That is buhtan now. Sometimes it is just because their friends are talking about it, they too they want to talk. Muwafaqatul ashab. Your friends are talking, you too, you want to talk. It's not good that my friends are talking. You keep quiet. Please keep quiet, it is better for you. Sometimes it is in terms of ar-raghbatu fil intiqam. You want to take a revenge. A brother so discuss so about. You want to pay back. You also want to destroy his personality. May Allah protect all of us. Abdur-Rahman. I mean, do you still have questions? Abu Abdur-Rahman, this matter is very clear. Very, very clear. We all know where the shoe itches. Everybody who in Ramadan, riba needs a tawbah. Sincerely repenting to Allah that Allah, I will never do giba again. That is what each of us should go and sit down and start controlling. We still have 13 days of Ramadan to stop giba. Stop giba. All of us, everybody should go and stop it. Use what is left of your Ramadan to coordinate yourself to be a person who never speaks evil about people behind them. Except in these 6 cases. Otherwise, I will never speak about somebody behind him. If it is not that I'm complaining about something that he did to me that is bad, to those, not just complaining, you are complaining to those who can take action. Or that you are telling someone who can help with him and you can find a means to solve that problem. Or that you are asking one sheikh, one ustaz about the matter regarding that person. Or that you are warning the rest of the Muslims. In fact, one of the scholars explaining this one, he said, if he has one fault, you want to tell the ummah about one fault, but he has 3, 4, 5 faults that you know. If it is one that deserves that, everybody should know that this is a mistake. Don't mention the 2, 3, 4. If you mention the 2, 3, 4, you have entered into ghibah. So ghibah is a very, very bad thing. And it is unfortunate that it's a very common thing. Worse still, it is common among scholars. And that is because one of the major jobs of scholars is hasad, jealousy. It's a big job among scholars. It's a job, I call it a job. Their own jealousy is worse than the jealousy of co-wives. The jealousy amongst the scholars is worse than the jealousy amongst co-wives. May Allah protect all of us. Scholars, children, women, men. Ghibah is bad, no matter who does it. May Allah forgive all of us. Abdur-Rahman, we can call it a day here. Amin wa yakum hafizakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And yeah.